regulations, I'll be your girl for regulations. I know, I was in a committee hearing yesterday and I was just like, oh.
We're gonna get our hair cut tomorrow.
What's up, sir?
Oh, yeah.
Different day.
Yeah, she had, what, I don't know, did
She had enough.
you know what it was? Nothing serious, I hope, that's all.
Nothing serious enough to keep her up.
That's
But they said she was up there walking and,
Well, she did my hair just,
well, then, yes.
yes.
Department of Labor's Division of Paid Leave, and then the merit. And DLU still has their grip on me, so I find myself doing a lot of different stuff. So, and I do some DHR stuff with
Unless they're mine.
every little thing, you
Oh,
know?
my goodness,
Yeah, right? You know, it just piles up and you're like, okay, guess I'm doing it. Yeah.
Go up to Joe DePinto.
I was out of town, but I happened to run into her. 1 o'clock. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Delaware Public Service Commission meeting of June 12th, 2024. Before we get into the business, I got this birthday card from staff, and it's got a picture of a fish on the front leaping up into the air, and then it's got like an angel wing, and then a halo. So I want to thank whoever got this card for me, because they know me so well. And then it says, yeah, that's why you haven't been recognized. And it says holy mackerel inside, which, you know, holy mackerel, that means like surprise. I mean, amazement. So I just assumed they didn't realize what my real age was when they got the card. Anyway, we are here today. Let's get to the meeting. So thank you. I want to say thank you to everyone for your birthday wishes. Thank you. No. There's a request that you in particular not sing. So we have a reading of the meeting minutes of May 22nd, 2024. Are there any corrections, et cetera, from members of the Public Service Commission?
I move that we adopt the minutes as submitted.
I second the motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, Commissioner Drexler, you came through loud and clear. Thank you very much. So that carries. Public comment. Is there anyone here who would like to make public comment to the Public Service Commission? Well, I thought I heard a noise. Our first meeting, Madam Secretary, make sure that you mark down that this is his first Public Service Commission meeting. So, you know, the consent agenda. Anything that any commissioner wishes to have off the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda? Or Commissioner Correa?
I move that we adopt the consent agenda for today's meeting.
Second the motion.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Drexler? All 5 votes are positive. The motion carries. The regular agenda is blank, but we do have something on our hearing schedule. If the parties will please come forward.
Thank you, Chair Winslow and Commissioners. Courtney Emerson on behalf of Artesian Water Company. I'm joined here today by Dave Spaked, our CFO, and I'll just go through the rows. Michael Christopher, our rates analyst, Nikki Taylor, our president, Crystal Gibson, senior paralegal, Virginia Eisenbright, director of customer relations, Joe D'Annunzio, our Executive Vice President. This is the hearing on docket 23061, Artesian's application for approval of an increase in its water base rates. Before you for your consideration today is Order 10460, which would approve the party settlement agreement. We would like to take this opportunity before we begin to thank the DPA staff and their respective counsel and consultants for their efforts in reaching the settlement agreement and drafting the proposed order before you today, and would respectfully request that the Commission enter Order 10460. The Commission should have the joint exhibit log listing 33 exhibits. I understand that the parties agree that each of these exhibits are admissible, and I therefore offer those exhibits into evidence.
They are entered without objection.
The company calls its first and only witness, David Spate, and asks that he be sworn.
I do.
Please state your name, employer, business address, and position with Artesian.
My name is David Spaked. My employer is Artesian Water Company, Inc. My business address is 664 Churchlands Road, Newark, Delaware, and my position is Chief Financial Officer.
What has been your assignment in this docket?
My assignment in this docket was to present and discuss the calculations of Artesian's proposed increase to its water base rates to be effective June 12th, 2024. I reviewed the application, the pre-filed testimony and schedules, and the data requests and responses. I also participated in settlement discussions and reviewed the settlement agreement.
In connection with that assignment, did you prepare and authorize the filing on April 28th, 2023 of an application to increase the company's base water rates?
Yes.
In connection with that assignment, have you also prepared pre-filed direct testimony together with exhibits dated April 28th, 2023 in support of the application?
Yes.
And has that testimony been marked and entered into evidence as Exhibit 2?
Yes.
Have you also reviewed and do you adopt the pre-filed direct testimony together with exhibits of Daniel Konstanski, Scott Steffen, Raymond Kelly, John Spanos, Dylan D'Ascendis, and Timothy Lyons, all filed in support of the application on April 28th, 2023?
I do.
Has that testimony been marked and entered into evidence as Exhibits 3 through 8 respectively?
It has.
Have you also prepared pre-filed supplemental direct testimony together with exhibits dated November 30th, 2023 in support of the application?
Yes.
Has that testimony been marked and entered into evidence as Exhibit 13?
It has.
And have you also reviewed and do you adopt the pre-filed supplemental direct testimony together with exhibits of Daniel Konstanski filed on November 30th, Scott Steffen filed on November 30th, and Tim Lyons filed on January 3rd, all in support of the application?
Yes.
And has that testimony been marked and entered into evidence as Exhibits 14 through 16 respectively?
It has.
Do you have any changes or corrections that you would like to make to any of the direct or supplemental testimony?
I do not.
Is the information set forth in the application, the schedules to the application, and the pre-filed direct testimony true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
If I were to ask you today the questions set forth in your pre-filed direct testimony, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
As part of your assignment in this docket, have you reviewed the settlement agreement entered into between the parties?
I have.
Do you believe that the terms of the settlement agreement, which has been marked as Exhibit 33, result in rates that are just and reasonable and that the agreement is in the public interest?
Yes.
What impact would the settled water base rates have on the average residential customer?
Compared to the rates approved by the Public Service Commission in 2014, Artesian's last comprehensive base rates case, and accounting for the DSIC adjustments since then, the average residential customer using 4,000 gallons a month would experience an increase of approximately $3.34 per month.
Thank you, Mr. Spake. I have no further questions at this time, but Mr. Spake is available for cross-examination or for any questions from the commission.
I forget who's representing the state on this. It's Mr. Geddes, isn't it? Do you have any questions? Am I allowed to speak now? Yes, sir. Not sing, though.
For the benefit of everyone here, I have no questions for Mr. Spake. Thank you.
No questions.
Please proceed. Commissioners, any questions?
That is our only witness that we would arrest at this time.
Want us to go?
Well, why don't you go first?
All right, I'd be happy to. Could I call Josh Bowman to the stand, please, and ask that he be sworn? I do. Please state your full name, title, and business address for the record.
My name is Joshua Bowman. I'm a regulatory policy administrator for the Public Service Commission, and my address is 861 Silver Lake Boulevard, Suite 100, Dover, Delaware, 19904.
And what was your assignment in this docket?
I was assigned as the staff case manager for this docket.
And what were your responsibilities as case manager in this docket?
So as the staff case manager, I'm tasked with reviewing the application, the testimonies, and the accompanying exhibits of each of Artesian's witnesses. I compile the sets of staff's data requests and review Artesian's responses. I also handle all the internal coordination between staff, legal counsel, and outside consultants.
And as part of your responsibility in this docket, did you brief file to a testimony that's been marked as Exhibit 23 and entered into the record in this proceeding?
Yes,
Do you have any corrections or additions to that testimony?
I do.
Did anyone else file testimony on behalf of staff in this matter?
Yes. Mr. Ryan Pfaff of Polk and Vine LLC, Dr. Larry Blank of Tahoe Economics LLC, Ms. Maureen Reno of Reno Energy Consulting Services LLC, Ms. Roxy McCullough of William Dunkel and Associates, Mr. Mark Crisp of Global Energy and Water Consulting LLC, and PSE staff analyst Ms. Gisela Causey, all filed testimony on behalf of staff in this docket.
And have those testimonies been marked as exhibits and entered into the record in this proceeding?
Yes.
Were you involved in the negotiations on behalf of the commission's staff that led to the settlement agreement in this docket?
Yes.
Do you support adoption of the proposed settlement agreement that's been filed in this case?
I do.
Can you please state on the record the reasons why you support the settlement agreement?
I believe that the commission adopting the proposed settlement agreement results in just and reasonable rates and is in the public interest because the 11.2 million increase in revenue requirement encompasses a reduction of the company's approved return on equity from 9.75% to 9.5%. It returns the non-protected excess deferred income taxes to ratepayers over 6 years rather than the company's original proposal of 49.5 years, and it requires the company to perform a formal demand study and perform a study for both equivalent meter and service cost ratios and equivalent meter capacity ratios.
Do you have anything else to bring before the commission regarding this docket or the proposed settlement agreement?
I do not.
Thank you, Ms. Bowman. Ms. Bowman's available for any questions the commission or other parties may have.
No questions.
No questions.
Commissioners, any questions?
No.
Any further witnesses, Mr. Geddes?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Iori?
Thank you, Chairman Winslow and Commissioners. The public advocate calls Andrea Melcher to the stand for her last testimony ever and asks that she be sworn.
I do.
Please state your name and business address for the record.
Andrea Moucher. My business address is the Thomas Collins Building, 540 North DuPont Highway, Suite 3B, Dover, Delaware, 19901.
And by whom are you employed?
The Delaware Division of the Public Advocate.
And what is your position with the DPA?
I'm a public utility analyst.
What are your duties and responsibilities in that position?
Generally, I'm responsible for overall management of those dockets where the public advocate has intervened. This includes review of applications, testimonies, and discovery responses, selection of consultants where necessary, and participation in the development of positions taken by the public advocate in cases.
And as part of those duties and responsibilities, did you review the application of Artesian Water Company for an increase in its water service rates?
Yes,
Did the public advocate retain Glenn Watkins of Technical Associates, Inc., and David Garrett of Resolve Utility Consulting to review the application?
Yes.
Did those witnesses submit the pre-filed testimonies that have been admitted into evidence?
Yes.
Do those testimonies reflect the positions that the DPA would have taken in this case if it had been litigated?
Yes.
Do you accept these testimonies as your own sworn testimony for purposes of this evidentiary hearing?
Yes, I do.
You are aware that the parties have reached a settlement in this case, correct?
Yes.
Did you participate in the negotiations that resulted in the proposed settlement?
Yes, I did.
And you are the witness that the DPA is proffering to testify about the proposed settlement, correct?
Yes, I am.
Would you discuss the most important provisions of the proposed settlement agreement from the DPA's perspective?
Yes. In its initial application, Artesian Water requested an increase in its water base rates of slightly more than $17.5 million, which represented an incremental revenue increase of 16.34% in revenue over its current base rates, and a 7.5% distribution system improvement charge, or DSIC, in effect when Artesian filed its application, or a total revenue increase of 23.84%. While the DPA's litigated position was lower than Artesian's request, the DPA recognizes that had this case been litigated, some of our adjustments may not have prevailed before the Commission. Carefully evaluating the risks, the DPA is confident the proposed settlement increase to base rates of $11.2 million is just and reasonable. The agreed-upon return on equity of 9.5% is lower than the company's current ROE of 9.75% and is also lower than the company's requested ROE of 10.4%. With the agreed-upon ROE and the proposed settlement, Artesian's overall rate of return will be 6.75%. Also specified in the proposed settlement agreement is the amortization period for the non-protected excess deferred income taxes, EDIT, as well as the specific composition of the EDIT amount. Under the proposed settlement agreement, unprotected EDIT amounts will be returned to customers over a 6-year period, as opposed to the return of that money over the 49.5 years suggested by Artesian. This is a substantial and immediate benefit to customers and helps to minimize generational inequities that result from a longer amortization period.
I note that the matter of the residential customer charge is specified in the proposed settlement. Would you please discuss why?
Of all matters considered in a rate case, rate design is one of the more important issues to the DPA. This office has a long history of opposing attempts by regulated utilities to recover variable costs and fixed customer charges, as this will negatively impact customers with lower usage. In this case, although the settled monthly customer charge is higher than we advocated, it is within a range of reasonableness and lower than Artesian's request. As part of the proposed settlement agreement, the parties have also agreed to the fixed customer charges for other meter sizes.
Are there other aspects of the company's application you wish to discuss?
Yes, Artesian has agreed to perform a formal demand study as well as a study for both equivalent meter and service cost ratios and equivalent meter capacity ratios. The results of both of these studies will help better inform future class cost of service studies and the resulting revenue allocations.
Do you believe that the proposed settlement results in just and reasonable rates for residential and small commercial customers and is in the public interest?
Yes, I do.
Why do you believe that?
The settlement agreement is a product of extensive good faith negotiations between the parties and represents a fair result for both the company and its customers. I do not believe that the Commission would reach a substantially different rate increase if the parties fully litigated the case. Settlements are encouraged under Delaware law, and additional litigation would result in costs that are ultimately passed on to Artesian's customers.
Thank you. Ms. Melcher is available for cross-examination or any questions from commissioners.
We have no questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, please. I'd first like to thank Ms. Moucher for her service in front of the Public Service Commission. say goodbye to you and wish you farewell. I do have a question for Mr. Spake. With respect to the rate increases, does Artesian have any opportunities to collect infrastructure funds or fines, penalties, or payments from PFAS litigation, which could relieve upward pressure on ratepayers?
I'm going to say yes, but more importantly, my esteemed colleague here has been intimately involved with those actions. So I'm going to turn it over to Courtney to have her answer that question.
Thank you. As you are likely aware, there are two multi-district litigations going on right now with 3M and DuPont, and Artesian is a party to both of those multi-district litigation. The amount that we are eventually will recover from that is yet to be seen, but it should assist in alleviating that burden on our customers.
Excellent. Thank you. At least you're paying attention to it. I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move that we adopt order number 10460 as submitted.
And I will second that motion.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Commissioner Drexler? All five, that passes. Thank you all very much. And Andrea?
Thank you.
Andrea, hi there. You have been, you've done yeoman's work for a lot of years. You have been a terrific person as well as a witness and a great credit to the offices you've worked for. And so I'll join the rest of the commissioners in saying best wishes, and I hope that the word forever might be altered at some point in time. And we'll see.
Thank you, I appreciate that. In fact, it's been 23 years. I started June 1st of
Terrific.
2001 at the commission. And I started October 1st, 2010, or November 1st of 2010 at the advocate's office. So it's been a long, long ride.
Congratulations. Mr. Hardigan.
Thanks, Chairman Winslow. On behalf of staff, I just wanted to echo your comments regarding Ms. Moucher. She'll truly be missed. She knows a lot about a lot of stuff. So certainly farewell, Andrea. And our next meeting will be July 10th.